I'm back with another tablet here. Now, this isn't going to be the fastest or greatest tablet in the world. This thing is really fairly priced, and honestly, I would give this to someone that just wanted to do like really casual games, think stuff like, I don't know, Bubble Witch, Candy Crush, stuff like that. Like I would give this to my mother that's in her 70s, or I would give it to a kid that's like 5 to 10 years old. This is the URAO. It's a 10.1 inch Android tablet. It is running Android 15, which is kind of nice. This has 4 gigabytes of RAM, but it'll do up to 24 gigabytes of virtual RAM. It has a 2 gigahertz octa-core processor. Has 128 gigs of internal storage, and it'll take up to a 1 terabyte SD card. That'd be another good thing. If you loaded a bunch of videos and stuff onto an SD card and handed this to a kid, they would be content on a road trip. Built-in low blue light protection, so it can reduce eye strain. Has an 8 megapixel rear, 5 megapixel front. Again, for a kid that just wants to like mess around, that's plenty good. It does have speakers, but they're a little bit on the quiet side. We'll look at the battery life in a minute. I did some extensive battery testing on this. It does claim a 1.5 hour fast charge via USB-C. I find that to be mostly accurate. Even with my GAN charger, like it'll take a little bit longer than that sometimes. It has 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It has 5.0 Bluetooth. It does have a headphone jack on the corner. And then, obviously USB-C and then the micro SD slot. So let's take a look at some of my benchmarking that I've done here. I'm going to turn the light off. It's a pretty decent little experience. So I did run some benchmarking. I use this to do the battery testing on everything. And as you can see, with all of the data points collected from this, it's getting an average battery life of about 3.98 hours. Now that's 5% on CPU test, 5 on multimedia, web browsing, photo, video, messaging, 3D tests, which was actually stable on this device, and then short video tests like YouTube Shorts. So that's probably a little bit more accurate than the 8.5 hours of mix that they're talking about, but 4 hours for doing all those tests. I mean, the CPU test like really grinds down the CPU. The 3D test really does grind down the battery as well. And then, that's with all the multimedia testing, which just plays a video clip, and then the shorts video, which basically does like YouTube Shorts kind of stuff, web browsing and all that. So I'd say that's a pretty fair assessment, about 4 hours. For a road trip or for a kid, if they're looking at this thing for more than 4 hours, then something's wrong. So yeah, pretty good. I did run some 3D Mark tests as I like to do. We'll go into my results there. Not the greatest, but it's on a flagship tablet. It's a pretty simple little guy. When tablets first started coming out that were somewhat cheap, even a little bit more expensive than this, I was happier with far less than this. This is $79, I think, right now. And, it's working very nicely. It's pretty responsive. It does the web browsing fine. It plays YouTube video fine. The speakers aren't the greatest, but you do have the option of Bluetooth, and then you have a headphone jack. Not much has a headphone jack anymore, so that's pretty cool. Give some kids like earbuds or whatever, and they can entertain themselves for a long time. Or again, I would give something like this to my mother. She was using a tablet that was way underpowered for a very long time. I may actually send her this one for Christmas. Be like, hey, here you go. Here's a new tablet. Because mostly she just sits in bed now in her 70s or sits in her chair and just plays games that aren't too intensive. So this would be really good for someone like that.